Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the For the Long Haul podcast. This is Blaine sitting alongside.
Brandon.
And today we are going to talk about.
Um, what is okay? So I saw this on Twitter. What has been so normal? What scam has been so normalized that we don't realize it's a scam anymore? Obviously,
Now,
going to give our ideas of what we think some of those are.
now come back at 5 minutes in, and this is where we're going to hit the main topic. This is before the long haul. It's just a pre show that we do. A little get together, say what's up, 5 minutes of that, and then hit the 5 minute mark, and we'll hit the main segment.
Okay, I can't believe I have to say this. I can't believe I have to say this at all. But that belt, A, the belt's awesome, but B, it should come with instructions.
Oh, because you couldn't get it off, huh?
Yes.
Ah!
I told that to our buddy Jay, and he was laughing at me. He's like, "You don't
That's
understand,"
so funny.
because I showed him the belt. I was like, "Okay, it's like you typically you put you put the belt in from the left hand side, and then you wrap it around to the right hand side and click it. The little thingy to release it, it's at the bottom.
So Brandon got an automatic belt. He was like, he's losing some weight. Brandon, I think, working out or something, and eating whatever better diet. And so he's going through like his like just a belt. With a normal belt, you have belt holes, and they don't. When you have to go
Going through
between
that
holes, it's
awkward
too
size.
tight or not tight enough. And then what's the point of the belt? It's not working right. So then you're pulling up your pants all the time. I've been using automatic belts for years, or ratcheting belts, whatever you call them. So I was like, Brandon, you got to get one. You got to get one. So he obviously bought one. The same thing happened to my dad one time. He had he wanted to do something. He needed to wear a suit for work, and he actually borrowed one of my
Can you hear that,
suits.
by the way?
What?
I don't
No.
think you should be able to pick it up, but like this, like I think it's the trash can or the garbage
Ah,
collection.
no, I can't hear him. But he wanted to borrow my suit, so he didn't borrow the pants. He borrowed the jacket, which I was surprised he was able to get that done. It was a little too small, but he didn't button or anything. He was like, "This will work." And then, but he put the belt on because it's a nice belt. And he was when I was gone, and he was with my mom, and he's like, he couldn't get it off. He was like, "How the fuck do you get this thing off?" And he had to like take it off, like slip it down his waist. Just like, I can't do this, and take it off. And the pants were just in my room with a belt in it. Like I could figure it out. So that's super funny.
I literally had to suck in my gut and then like Jimmy down because I was trying to use the restroom and I was like, oh god, it's like I just had to suck in my gut. Thankfully, I was in the stall, so I just like sucked it in. Then like as I was doing my business, I was like, I was like, how do you get this off?
Were you at work or were you still at home?
I was at work.
Damn, so you put it on and went, and then you're like, ah.
Yeah, so then I was like, oh, I need to use the restroom, so I just went to the restroom at the store and all that. And I was like, how do I get this off? I was like, what the? It's like, were there instructions with this thing? It took me a while. Like I didn't leave until like I figured out how to take it out. Then I was like, wait, what's this little thing? And think I was like, oh
Yeah,
really?
you grab it just
it's
with
like
one hand and you loosen it, and then you pull with the other.
yeah, it's like a little difficult to do still for me, but I've got it. I know what to look for, and I'm like,
Yeah, it takes a second to get used to it, and once you're used to it, it's so easy. But
I
really,
told a
no.
buddy about this and he was just laughing. I'm like, I literally cannot believe I have to say this. That
Mm-hmm.
a belt should have come with instructions.
Uh huh.
But honestly, I think that should come with at least a little one-page thing. Is like, yo, this is how you take it off. So that way you're
Mm-hmm.
not like me, not like you down when you're like, how the hell do I get this off?
Yeah, yeah. Well, other stuff. I don't know if you know this yet or have heard about it, but Victoria bought a Peloton.
You showed it to me last time we did this.
Oh, we did. Okay, I couldn't remember. All right, well then that's not news anymore. We'll have to just keep on moving.
Yeah, but anything else? I mean,
That's all the stuff.
we survived that great cold front that everybody was freaking out about.
Nothing really happened. Nothing
Nah.
bad happened. It's like flooding South Austin right now. It's been raining quite a bit over here as of 124.
I think we're supposed to be getting rain up here a little this week.
Yeah, the way it's supposed to come. It's hovering above us right now, so that's why it's flooding. But then it's supposed to be another one comes through, and then it's gonna bubble and bloom up and go up towards the north with y'all a
Oh,
little
never
bit as
mind.
well.
Never mind. It's supposed to be. It was yesterday and today that's supposed to be raining. Looks
Oh,
like over here it's clear the rest of the week.
okay. Because I was looking at the weather this morning. They were talking about it. They explained that. I didn't know if it went up from north enough to get to y'all, but kind of around.
Because I think there was like a couple of
Give me a
fronts
second.
coming in. I know one was coming in from like the south, basically taking over a large section of like going from
Mhm.
like Texas and going out that way.
Yeah.
But apparently, like a couple of days ago, there was a fog that was basically from Texas all the way up straight across the middle of America, basically to Canada.
Wow.
like a mass, like just like straight line of
Well,
fog across the
hard
screen.
cutoff. That's which I think is fun about doing a hard cutoff. We're at the main segment.
Uh,
Makes you have to finish your thought real quick. So, hey, everybody, welcome back for Long Haul Podcast here. Blaine sitting alongside,
Brandon,
and thanks for being there for the pre. If you weren't, happy for the main segment. So, like we said earlier, today we're talking about.
what scam has been so normalized that we don't realize it's a scam anymore? So I saw this like randomly trending on Twitter, probably a couple of months ago and all that, and I was like, that's a good topic. That's a good idea.
Mhm.
And I saw somebody's one of the answer to the question. I'm like, honestly, I facts, 100%
Uh huh.
facts on that. So would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I can go first. I have a couple. I got four.
Yeah,
So the first thing that I think of, what has been is a scam that's been normalized, and we don't even realize it's a scam. Really, is the fact that the internet is free. It was either a paid service or a free service. Well, if something's free, that means you're the product. Like it's free to use Home Advisor to get a professional to help you at your home. Well, yeah, you're the product though. You're sold to the provider to give you services that you need. So the internet's free, we are sold for our data. So everything we view, all those cookies and everything, everything you go to, your shopping habits, when do you shop, what time you shop, you're clicking something that has a certain color to it, all of this stuff, more than you can fathom, is all put down. You have a, essentially like a data profile that's sold, especially like Amazon and Google. They have so much of this information. They're giants in this. But I think that's a huge one that you really don't think about hardly ever. And the fact that we are the product because we get to use the internet for free. You go look at something. Oh, we said something in here, literally inside here. Oh, in the apartment. I never get ads for, let's just say in this instance, tampons because I don't buy that product. So literally, we mentioned it in the apartment, and the next ad that came up on the TV during the commercial break, because it was internet service, was a tampon ad, and we've never seen one on there before because we're just watching our show that we watch on whatever Hulu or something,
yeah.
and so never seen one on there before for tampons, and that just came up. We just talked about it, but literally, there's been experiments people have done where they'll have new devices and stuff like that, where they don't sign in and associate it with anything, and they'll get ads based on something they talked about right before they started using it or after it's turned on. But yeah, the internet's it's free to use. Um, you're the product. I still really enjoy having it. I'm not gonna have it another way, but
I mean, we
it
cannot live without having it. It's
yeah.
become a necessity.
That even another thing that you can add to it then that makes it almost more of a scam now is that you really you can't function without it. Yes, you
Like,
can, but like we're having jobs and stuff like that. You can have a job without using the internet. Like everything.
I'm trying to find this right now. Like, I can't remember what it was. It was something created by the UN. It was like, it was based. I don't know if it's like the Constitution of Basic Rights or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but it was created by I think the UN, if I remember correctly. It's basically saying that these 10 things are basic universal human rights, and one
Uh-huh.
of them was the access to the internet.
Yeah.
Uh, you you well, I'll look this up in a little bit, but
Okay.
one of my big ones, honestly, I think credit scores.
Ooh.
Because okay,
Okay.
think about it. Okay, I did a little research on this. Credit score or the FICO score was basically created in 1989. So basically, think about it. We survived us. Let's just say from the 1900s or past the Great Depression. So you have like 89, 40 years, depending on when you want to start. Of we had like this economy, the booming and all that. We didn't have credit scores. Basically, credit scores has been around for like what? Let's see, 1999 will be one decade, 2009 will be 2 decades, 2019 3 decades. So about 3.5 decades we have had this concept of credit scores. Before then, they didn't have nothing like a credit score, nothing like the FICO score and all that, and
Yeah.
people were able to get apartments, buy foods, buy houses, buy stuff and all that. Especially like how well technically your grandparents and all that, or like any more than first generation Americans,
Uh-huh.
parents and all that. Okay, maybe my dad did at the beginning of the credit score and all that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he did. But like your grandparents and all that, they didn't have to deal with the BS until later on in their lives. So
Yeah.
when they probably already had a house and all that.
Yeah, because they were at some point, they were talking about buying something. I remember my mom telling me about this, I think. When they went to buy something, they were like, "What? You don't exist." Like, "What?" So I think they credit came out and they still didn't mess with any of that stuff because they were always cash everything.
Yeah.
And so at some point when they went to go buy a car or something, they were like, "You don't exist." They're like, "Well, we don't want credit anyways." Or something paid cash for it. And
Depending on when my dad came into the city, he probably got in like right before or right after it was created and all that. Because I think he
uh
was been into the states before for work. I can't remember when he actually finally like moved here and all that. I
yeah.
think it may have been like a couple of years after or like right before.
Hmm.
So think about it. Like at least your grandparents or anybody that's second, third generation or longer American, their family didn't have to deal with this stuff.
Yeah.
We're basically the fourth generation. Us and the 90s kids, we're basically the first generations that really have had this in our entire lives. And honestly, sometimes it's screwing us over because they're like, oh, you don't have enough credit to buy this, to rent this apartment and all that, or to get a loan and all that, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, we still think about this. This is still a relatively new thing when you think about it long term.
Yeah.
Like, Betty White is older than credits, or she was older than credit scores.
Uh-huh.
Because you got to remember, she was older than sliced bread by 1 year. Fun fact: she was
Wow.
born a year or two before sliced bread became commercial and all that.
Well, damn, dude, that's pretty freaking crazy.
Fun fact. But yeah, credit scores. It's because what is it really? It's like them just saying, oh, this. It's just a bunch of stuff. Like they're like, oh, how much you pay off your stuff and all that, how much you
Mhm.
can borrow and all that. But like other people didn't have to. Other generations didn't have to deal with this like we do now. They're like, oh yeah, here's just the cash. Okay, good, sweet, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You didn't think about that at all.
No, that's what I was hoping about. What kind of things we go back and forth with?
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, if you don't have a good credit score, you pay more for everything.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
requires financing if you need financing, which is pretty
what
much
did people
everybody.
back then before do? Like they're just like, oh, you have the cash or you have majority of the cash? Okay, boom, there you go.
Yeah, and plus it was easier to buy stuff back then too versus
Yeah.
it is now.
And
We
now
watched
like
The Price is Right in the Bob Barker era, which is a long time ago. I
I
don't know
thought
what
he
years that is. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone.
I thought Bob
Uh
Iger did it for a long time. I thought he still did whenever
oh,
we were kids.
he was doing it for a long time. I think he
Yeah.
was old when we were kids, but I'm watching one where they have like it looks like the 70s or something. I'm not sure exactly when it is on here, but I saw a couple peace signs in some sections. But he was running for ages. But either way, just looking at how much it was, like they were giving away a new car, and it was like a Volkswagen on this.
Hmm.
It was like the most of the new cars were like $7,000, brand new car.
Man,
They were
what a
giving
time.
away a new car of that time frame. 7,000. There was one for 6, one for 8. The new Cadillac was like $8,000. I think it was 8 or it was 7,800 or something. But I mean, what? Oh my, way easier to buy the stuff back then. The power of the money was stronger back then. You also made less, but there was a closer correlation. But we
Yeah,
already know that. We've
but
talked
like
about that.
yeah, but like it was still like you could still like afford a house,
Yeah.
uh, getting paid $7.25 an hour.
Well, that was probably a pretty damn good wage back then, 7.25.
Uh,
Back when somewhat at some point when I think my grandpa was a kid, the minimum wage was like a quarter
it
something.
depends on what time frame you see because I can't remember. I think it was 80s or 90s.
Uh-huh.
The minimum wage hasn't increased since. Like back then, they used to always keep it up with inflation and all that, but
Yeah.
between the 80s and 90s, they just stopped keeping up with inflation.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
hit the next point.
oh yeah, what's your next one?
So I think my next one here is not having options for utilities. So in some areas, you only have one utility provider for your electricity. Um, which is, I think is probably the bigger one there to talk about really. You just have one option. But water is also in the utilities bracket. Just separate company typically, I think. But anywho, like here on it's called ERCOT, I think, and it's most of Texas is one power, at least our segment of Texas, Central Texas, and it's just one electricity company That's the main one that provides all the electricity. And then you have different areas like Granbury, you have different options based on where you're at. There's they're called co-ops, and then you
Yeah.
can select different ones. But I think I think it's kind of a scam that don't have the options. Like there's you're not supposed to have monopolies. That's something that we do to encourage competition. Well, if there's only one option for a provider, I mean that's a monopoly right there, isn't it?
Like, yeah, but like honestly, I don't know how the entire like providing thing works and all that.
Oh, I mean, I'm not really sure about the full on details of it, how it works, but she had options when she was in Dallas. I'm pretty sure. I didn't sign up for them there. I don't entirely remember, but I mean, the ability to have those options because some providers charge you less for electricity on certain times. Like there's the one that we used to see ads for that would give you free nights and weekends, so you
God,
can
that's
actually
God. I know which one you're talking about because they run ads all the time.
I mean, that's when we always you always use all your electricity in the night into the weekends, pretty
Yeah.
much. So that sounds like that deal's too good to be true. To be honest, I don't know the details of that, but that's an example. That's another company, and there's the competitive pricing structure. Well, there's no options for that here in Austin. You have City of Austin Electric, I think is what it's called, or Austin Energy, I think is actually the name. Austin Energy or Austin Electric. We've had them for a couple of years now. Of course, I'm butchering it a little bit, but there's only one option. That's it.
If
And the
it-
interesting thing is that happened is like with this last year. So the power went out, and actually, when I say last year, I don't mean 2023. I mean 22.
yeah.
Whenever the big freeze happened, the power went out and all that different stuff. During the 2023 year, they said with during this power outages and everything like that, we actually didn't charge you enough for your electricity. So therefore, we will charge you more for all your electricity in the 2023 year.
No, yeah, but that was also just a big, just like that's just a big. That was just like a big issue with Texas all around and all that, and the whole
Mhm.
freeze and all that.
I know, but still, they're still a company. They're a company, and it's not our fault that they're not innovating. And that's the other side of this. We can have problems with that company, but they're the only one that's a provider. And so, like, if we had a bad winter storm again, it could have went out again. They're supposed to get all these tests done. And I saw on the news or an article on my phone, they're supposed to have like about 390 tests done by the end of the year when it started here. And they only had 170 done with a week till the new year. But apparently they said, oh, we'll get them all done by February. Well, all our bad stuff happens to be done in February. So I just think that there should just be options in every sector, no matter where you are, because there pretty much is everywhere.
But see, that's also like a thing, like the testing. I think that's also a problem with the Texas and with our power grid system because I think it was created in 1994, 1990, no, not 1924, 1927. Like
Yeah.
our system is old, and like we're
Mhm.
not connected to anywhere else in the country and all that.
Yes, we're not. That's one thing that they're trying to do is get it connected to like the Louisiana area over there to where they can share power with us if we have a problem.
Yeah. So is that all? Or are you gonna go a little more in depth on that? Because I never
That's
personally thought about that.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, that's not like a huge scam, I don't think. I just think it should have the options for competition in the space. Maybe it's just really hard to get there.
The
There's no bars, but
the only thing I can think of is maybe it's like because it's like who created like the influence, maybe it's the infrastructure and all that because like maybe if
yeah,
it knew the because like it's created by Austin so they have the uh
the whole rights
connections
to the
to
whole thing and
yeah, and
everything.
then if the new suburb is created, other companies can bid to provide for that area and all that.
Yeah.
That's the
Mhm.
only thing I can think of and all that. Because I don't think in most like towns or cities, if you live within the city, anybody else provides for you besides the town and all that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think it goes mostly that direction.
Yeah.
And then when you get on outside of towns, you get co-op opportunities to get different.
Or like new sections that were built like after the town was founded, probably too.
I think there should be more room for the competition there.
All right, but like my second one is um I don't know if it's like basically the points you get on credit cards. I feel like that's a scam that's just been so normalized. Cause like It's like
I
okay,
don't
because here's
feel
the
the
thing.
same.
Because here's the thing. Wait, what? Wait, what'd you say?
I said, "I don't know if I feel the same, but
Because
I'm let's keep going."
at least the way it's advertised, they're like, "Hey, you spend." It's like they're basically saying, "It's like, oh, you're basically not going to spend any money or the amount of or they basically the advertisement basically makes it seem as like, hey, you use this credit card, you're not gonna have to pay. We're basically paying you back. But I'm like, not really, because it's like, oh, you get 1% cash back on every dollar you spend. You get, I'm like, that's nothing. So if I spend $1, I get 1%, I get 1 penny back.
Yeah.
If I get 5% back on $1, I get 5 pennies and all that. They're making it seem like, yo, you use this credit card, you're basically not paying for anything. Not really, because like, say I use my credit card all month and I only spend $100,
Yeah.
and 25 of that was like 25% of that, like $25 I spent, that all had 1% cash back. So that means 25 cents. Then
Yeah.
the like say 50 was like 3%. So that's I actually don't know what 3% of 50 is so fast.
That's $3. Wait, no, it's $1.50.
No wait.
3% of
50
50
times
is half of
0.0
3. $1.50.
$1.50.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get a
3% of
dollar.
100 is $3. So
Okay, yeah. So I get $1.50 back. I get then the other one is like 5% cash back. Like the other 25 is like 5% cash back. So that's like
that's pretty good.
I don't know. So like the commercials and all that, the advertisement and all that makes it seem as like, yo, you use this card all the time. You're not gonna be paying for it.
Uh-huh.
You have to spend a crap ton of money to get at least a decent amount back. Now it can be useful if you use the points for other stuff, but if you're just using it for cash back,
Yeah.
it's not worth it in all honesty. Because like say you only use that, say you spend $100 and you got 5% cash back
Uh-huh.
on the entire $100. That's five
Okay.
bucks to get back.
Yeah.
So they make it seem like it's so lucrative, so good for the cash back. In all honesty, you use it percentage wise, you have to spend a crap ton of money that not everybody has to get a decent amount back.
Well,
Now, like if you use them, and if you use those points to convert to like airline, like plane tickets, airline, and all that, then yeah, it could be worth it. But if you're just doing it for cash back, you're gonna get some money back, but you have to spend a bunch of money to get a decent amount back.
what the way that you always win, I love cashback credit cards. I mean, I've got a handful of credit cards. I have 4 or 5 there's only really 3 that I use. I think I have 5. There's 3 that I use. One of them's only through Samsung that gives me special financing.
Yeah,
But then the other 3, one of the 4 is for Dillard's. That's some crap I didn't want that while I worked there, but they just said I had an option, and then after I got it, then they were like, "Oh, you did have an option." So that kinda screwed me over.
yeah,
Either way, it's no fee, so I'm gonna keep it, and we'll try to remember to buy something every 4 months, pack of gum and pay so they don't close it for my credit history to be good. Other than that, I love cashback cards because the way you use them and you never lose on using them, it's always financial gain, is that you don't carry a balance and have to pay on the credit. That's where they get because almost everybody has credit card debt that is not you paying off the end of the month, like credit card debt that they keep. Almost everybody. I mean, the average American has, whatever that's a figure. I thought it's went up. I don't remember how much it is, like 20,000 or something. But everybody has credit card debt. So if you hold the money and you have to pay interest on it, that's how they're getting you, and that's what they want. And that's the incentive. That's when they say, "Hey, I'll give you this credit card with 18 months, 0% APR. You don't have to pay any of it back except the minimum payment for 18 months if you don't want to." That's really cool. Yeah, except if you max it out and then you have to start paying it after 18 months and you can't pay it like you need to, there, that's what they wanted. They wanted you to get reeled in and not pay attention, feel like you're good, and the next thing you know, you're paying interest. And they made all that money back of giving you that type of offer. Yeah, you reeled in. The way you're always winning is that you don't hold a balance that you pay on. And so I pay all of my cards off every month. I've been in a tight spot before where I did not do that at one point for, I don't know, 4 or 6 months or something like that. I think maybe 4 months, maybe 5 at the most. But other than that, I am always paying them off at the end of every month. So I'm getting cash back that I'm not paying anything extra for. So I get bonus money back on everything that I spend, except my rent, because I don't take it.
Yeah, but the thing is like, they make it seem like you're gonna get a bunch of money, but you have to spend a bunch of money to get a bunch of money back. And I'm like, not everybody's gonna spend $10,000 every single month.
No, no, no.
So I'm like, if you have a crap ton of money, yeah, it's worth it. But if you don't have that much kind of money, it's like it's gonna take forever to get a bunch of points that can give you $100, $200 back, and all that. I'm like, that's a little like, especially whenever like it's like, oh, 1%, 3%. I'm like, that's not
Yeah.
that much unless it's a crap ton of money.
No, yeah. I will agree with you in saying that credit cards are one of the biggest scams that we have because it has everyone by the balls. That literally everybody is tied down because of those. Most everybody you're gonna have a conversation with, like I said, has credit card debt, so they're tied down with that. That debt's constantly charging them extra money, and so there's so much money being generated there, and so it's hurting the American people by so much. It's an awesome feature, but most everybody isn't good at using them, and they don't use it to where they don't have to pay. They use it as extra money, and they'll worry about paying it later instead of using it like a debit card and paying it all off. And that's where they get you with the money. And so I will jump with you on that and say it's one of the biggest scams just because being the credit card. And the cash back is could be misleading by thinking, oh, I'm gonna get all this money. Oh, I'm going to Fiji with all my points. Well, you're gonna
Because
have to
that's
get a shit ton of points to
yeah,
go to
because like
Fiji.
that's the commercial. They just make it seem like you're gonna get a bunch of money back, and I'm like, nah, not when you think about it for a second.
Yeah.
It's gonna take
It
you a long time.
absolutely. So I mean I agree with you on that. I love my cashback credit cards. I mean, I have about 500 bucks of cash back right now. I'm just waiting to what do I want to use that for? I typically just use it for statement credits and stuff, but I thought maybe the first time in years ever, I will use it for something for myself.
Cause yeah, I think my dad, what he uses his points for is sprinkle is just like for freaking out flyer miles and all that. He uses that
Yeah.
so that way every now and then he can just take a plane to Mexico, go see my mom, go check out on the development of the house and all that, and just relax there for a little bit, then come back and all that.
Those are great. If I traveled more, I'd definitely be using some of that because that's one of the best conversions I think for getting points and using them for flights on certain cards. Those are the best value out of any of the you get points cash back type stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But
I've had
anyway,
some heard some stuff talking about it, but let's go ahead, keep going.
yeah, what's your next one? Cause that was mine.
Okay, so my next one here, I actually asked Landon this question. I wanted to hear what he had to say. I was like, what would be one thing that you think is the biggest scam that we are normalized and we don't realize it's a scam?
Mhm.
And he said, water. Water, everyone needs water to survive, but water is not free. The fact that they've taken water and turned it into a product to where pretty much no matter where you are, someone's buying the water.
Oh, okay, so long term, I'm gonna agree with him, but there's actually a little bit of an interesting thing that I watched one of uh Matt Pat's food theory channel. He did a video
Uh-huh.
talking about the different kinds of water. Also, side notes, he's retiring if you haven't seen.
Hmm.
So he's gonna be giving control of his channels to like the creative directors and all that of each of the channels: game theory, food theory, film theory, and fashion theory. And it's
He's
gonna be,
he's not that old, is he?
I think he's 10 years our senior, give or take,
Oh wow.
at most.
That's cool. He's probably
He's
making
like
good money and gonna relax. Good
he's
for
like
him.
mid to late 30s, I think. Like he's gonna be part of the team, but he's not gonna be in the camera and all that. If anything, he'll help write scripts, but he's not gonna be the main like face of the channels anymore. So
That's
he's like kind of
cool.
like retiring, but still gonna be doing stuff in the background and all that.
You're gonna do a little less work and still make good money.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
really neat. Wow.
but which is a little sad. He's retiring in March, which is a little sad. It's like part of my childhood retiring, and I'm like, oh wow, but good for you.
Crazy. Yeah, good for him.
Spend time with your kid and all that. But anyway,
Oh yeah.
like so you've seen like stuff like says artesian water,
Yes.
Icelandic water, glacial water, and all that stuff. In order for it to like in the States and all that to be sold as that, it has to come from that source and all that. So like, it has to come from the
Yes.
actual glaciers. Fiji water actually, like, has to do the stuff with the Fiji and all that. Like they get it from the source of like a volcanic river or something like that. I can't remember what it was,
Yeah.
but stuff like that. But in the end, these water companies, they don't produce water. What they produce is the bottles. Actually, literally had this water bottle randomly right here. It's a good thing. They don't produce,
Wow.
like, it was literally right there. This whole landing, this uh
Ozarka.
Osaka spring water, They didn't create the spring water. They created the bottle that is sold in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, water companies just create water bottles that we buy and like the stuff. I mean, you can say they collect the water from like the spring and all that, but
Mhm.
basically, that's still stuff that they didn't create themselves. It's still in nature.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So they took what's provided to us by nature, and water is one of those basic things you need: food, water, shelter. But
Yeah,
water is a very generic, singular item versus food is everywhere in terms of variety. But water's water. There's different flavors of water and sources, but water is just water.
yeah,
And the fact that they return that, like you said, the water companies they produce water bottles,
yeah.
and they just take the water and sell it.
Again, I'm not gonna take credit for thinking of that because I saw some post about that, and
Oh, it's smart.
I'm like, okay, yeah, you got to put a point on that. You got to put a
I
point
think
on
it's real
that.
smart. I do get other sides of the argument. I'm not all in, dude. Water should be free, 100%. I mean, I definitely, I 100% see that. That makes sense. Never thought about it before. Um,
It's a basic human need, and basically,
yeah.
uh, I think the UN said it should be a basic human right that we should all just get for free. And I'm like, if it's
Hmm.
something you need to live, yeah, I honestly think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Yeah. With water, I mean, but the other side of this is too. I mean, I get like you're buying the land. If you buy the land to provide the water, and then you're selling the water and stuff like that, I get those different sides of the arguments. I'm not hard this way or hard that way on that stance, but I definitely feel like we're could maybe do better there.
Honestly, that's why I'm kind of glad I kind of like just stopped buying. Okay, granted, I bought that because in case my pipes froze, that water bottle there.
Yeah,
But like, I'm just glad I basically just switched to a Brita filter and just like
same.
get it from the faucet and just like fill up my water jugs and all
But
that.
you still pay for that water,
Yeah, it's true.
but honestly, it's pretty damn cheap.
I'm not paying like Ozark,
Yeah,
Icelandic, Voss.
Aquafina, Dasani,
Oh my, and
the
Voss.
lot.
I don't understand why Voss bottles are in glass bottles.
It's just the marketing thing. Like you said, they make the bottles. Well, it's
Or like,
glass bottles.
why a glass bottle? Because like that can easily just break easily. I'm like, why get something
Well,
like
the
an?
glass bottle probably doesn't get as many particles, microplastics in it from sitting in it versus the
I mean, granted, I will
plastic.
say like if you want to seem higher class and fancy, then yeah.
Oh yeah, feel fancy as hell drinking out of a Voss bottle. It's
I'm
glass.
like, I don't give. Loki, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't care if it's a plastic bottle, like a glass bottle,
Mm-hmm.
milk carton,
Yeah, I
ice
got cardboard.
bottle. If it's as long as like it doesn't taste bad, or like it's
Yeah.
too salty, because like some of them like they add minerals so that way it's like better for
Yes.
us and all that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. All right. Cool. You got the next one?
Honestly, not at the moment because those are the
Oh,
main two ones I can think of at the moment.
well, I got one more.
I mean, I can think of one a little bit, but it's not
I
really.
You don't have to.
Yeah, go. If I think of something really off the top of my
Yeah.
head, I'll say it.
We've got a good amount of time going so far, anyhow. So my last one that I'll be, and this is something I saw a lot when I worked at Berkshire's. Me and Brandon have talked about this before. Um, that okay, so this could be an interesting conversation. We'll see how it goes. I think one of the biggest scams that have become normalized. I have to watch my footing how I traverse this. Is food stamps, but wait just a second. Not just food stamps. Kill the food stamps. No, I'm saying that while the American public, how we pay taxes for food stamps. Okay, we help the people who have problems, and not just problems, but financially have something going on, like Landon's dad. He's on disability and he gets food stamps. He lost his arm in an accident when he was younger.
Really?
So, kind of hard to do many jobs, missing an arm.
The
So
more
on
you know. I
disability
didn't
food
actually know
stamps.
about that.
Yeah. And so I think I remember it, but I forgot when he said that. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't remember that. But I think when I met him one time, I feel like I kind of remember that.
Hmm.
But yeah, he said that. I was like, wow. So my point, food stamps, I didn't really finish the point about it though, is what they can buy with the food stamps, I think is the problem. So they can buy, and I see this all the time when I worked in a grocery store, junk food galore. Any kind of junk food, it's all good. Chips, Cheetos, soda. They can buy soda, Dr. Pepper, Coke, off-brand sodas, name brand, whatever. Um, and then also some of the premium food items too. that I think, like being able to buy like lobster tails and things like that. Most expensive steaks that you can buy at the grocery store, you can pay with food stamps. Um, and but I'm and I agree with Landon. We talked about this a little bit that if they want, he said if they want to buy just lobster tails with it on their $300 they get a month, well then they blew it on that. And I was like, nah, I still don't feel best about it. But we both wholeheartedly agreed with they shouldn't be able to buy pure junk food with food stamps. They should be being healthier, and it's when you buy better food, it's the price point's not far off. In fact, you can be healthier and get good deals on stuff if you're buying stuff like rice and chicken and like broccoli and things like that. So I think that it's fact that we pay taxes to make our American people fat and unhealthy and then wash them through the healthcare system because of that. I think that's a big scam that we have to participate in.
Well, okay, you actually made me think of another scam, but to counteract that, like I saw a video saying about like, okay, hey, typically it's cheaper to buy junk food than it is like veggies or organic stuff and all that, which sucks. But
Yeah.
typically, like you can get more for that bang for your buck with that stuff. And sometimes it's like whenever you like to buy the premium stuff and all that, I saw a video that was like kind of defending this. Is like you don't know what the like they're doing. Maybe they're doing this as a the treat that they get once a month, like giving themselves something nice, or maybe they're celebrating a birthday and all that, and they want to like buy that nice stuff for the birthday, or they just got a new job and they want to celebrate it by
Uh-huh.
treating themselves to some steak and all that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. We don't know why they're buying this. It could be a special occasion, like maybe an anniversary, a birthday, or a celebration that they wanna go a little more out of the way and all that,
Uh-huh.
and like make it special and all that. And they're using that because like that's the main way to buy groceries and all that. So and I was like, okay, I never thought of that. That could be a good reason why. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, sometimes it sucks at this. I think especially in America, it's typically cheaper to buy stuff that's not healthy for you than buying stuff that's healthy for you. Or we
Yeah.
just have the, or we just like, oh, it's just been like for so long, it was so cheaper and more cost effective to buy stuff that's not healthy than buying stuff that's healthy. I think it may have been, I think it's slowly switching around, but like a long time, it was like, they're like, oh my God, buying this organic stuff or buying this healthy
Oh yeah.
version of this is like 3 times the price than buying the
Oh,
not
that's
healthy
still the
version.
same. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're going for raw calorie consumption, then yeah, you can buy junk food cheaper per calorie.
And I,
But if you buy real basic stuff, you can get a lot done. Now, obviously, the last couple of years, this prices of groceries have raised so
well,
much.
also, I didn't notice until I watched the video. Apparently, a lot of people like you guys is like probably one of the best and cheapest things, but apparently, a lot
Yeah,
of people don't like to make it because they're afraid of effing it up. Because I think there was a survey then that rice people don't do it because they think it's gonna be one of the most hardest things to do
yeah,
or hardest things to mess up. And I'm like, yeah, if you don't do it right, it's easy to mess up. It can seem
yeah.
like whenever I forced to make rice by myself without like doing any instant rice and all that, I was like, oh god, I'm gonna f this up. I'm gonna f this up. I'm gonna f this up. I think I effed it up the first time.
Uh-huh.
I think I effed it up the second time. I think around 5 or 6 I actually got it good because I think the first 2 times it was just a little mushy, but I
Yeah,
still ate it.
yeah,
The I think 4 and 5, like 4 and 5. I think I didn't put enough water in it, so it was like some of them are like still raw and all that.
oh
But
yeah,
after a while, I got a hang of it. So apparently, like, people think rice is one of the hardest things to make from that little video and like survey they did. I'm like, yeah, it can be like seemingly daunting. I don't know why. I
yeah.
was like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna have to stop when I first made rice by myself, and I'm like, I got it basically down. Now, do I mess up occasionally? Yeah, I think I messed
Mhm.
up like 2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh. Ah, man, a $20 rice cooker will solve all of your problems with rice.
Yeah, I gotta get one, but like I don't
We
mind
can
doing.
we can give you one. I have an extra one here that my parents bought me a rice cooker for me in Victoria, but we had a rice cooker. They just didn't know. So you can have this other rice cooker we have. It's a little tiny one, just like we have. It's perfect. And you can make just like a cup of rice or make 2 cups of rice is a lot of rice.
Yeah,
And then you can meal prep easy, man. Rice cooker is so awesome.
no, yeah,
I can
yeah.
remember I can bring you that rice cooker.
I mean, that sounds like a good idea.
You've been wondering, like, what are we gonna do with it? Like, give it away or something, or what?
I mean,
Because
yeah, I'll
unless
take
this one
it.
goes bad, we've had it for a couple of years. It's still fine.
I'll take it.
It's awesome, man. Once you use a rice cooker, it's automatic. You wash the rice water in it, set the thing, and it's gonna go click. In like a half hour when it's done, and the rice is the best rice you've ever made every time.
Hmm.
It's
No,
awesome.
no, but like like sometimes people like that was one of the things when you said rice that made me think of it's like maybe they don't use rice, speak don't buy rice, which is an awesome thing. Like everybody should buy rice because like it's so cheap,
Rice
so it
cheap.
can get you so much food and cheap.
Yeah.
But apparently people think it's really scary to make.
Uh-huh. I did
It,
not know that.
it is the first times because I fucked it up a couple of times. I'm not gonna lie. I even fucked it up like about like 2 3 weeks ago because
Uh-huh.
it was all mushy and I had to cook it for longer. And
Oh,
I was like,
damn.
oh, and it still missed. I think like maybe a sixth of it was raw still.
Damn. Ugh.
But
Well, I'm
yeah,
telling you, man,
I can
a
see your
rice cooker will
I can see
solve.
I can see your point on that, but like also like I think sometimes it sometimes seems like it's cheaper to buy unhealthy than healthy food.
Yeah. And I guess the other side of the problem is people just don't know how to cook. I don't know how relevant that really
Or
is.
like yeah, yeah, they may not have the tools to cook like a pan and all that.
Yeah. I hope they would have a pan, but if they don't, they would need that for sure.
Like I saw a video, and maybe we can make a whole video about this. Like basically saying it is expensive to be poor because
Yeah.
like they give an example. It's like okay, Johnny can buy a 4 pack of toilet paper. He has $10. He can buy a 4 pack of toilet paper for $7, but he can't buy the 12 pack for $11 because he only has 10.
Yeah.
He's gonna run out sooner of the 4 pack than the 12 pack, and it's only $5 difference. I think I made a $5 difference.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
gets like triple the amount, but he can't buy triple the amount because he only has $7.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. Sometimes like it is,
It's like a cycle.
yeah. Unfortunately,
I can see that absolutely because we buy the big stuff.
yeah.
Because I'm like, it's more worth the money to buy the big one. We don't need that much, but necessities that you're going to use regardless, absolutely.
And you
It's cheaper per use.
and you have the
But I
disposable
have the
income.
money to do that.
Yeah. Sometimes unfortunately they don't.
I see it. I get that. Yeah. I definitely see that.
Yeah, but
That'd be a good thing to talk about.
I can see what you're talking about in your point of view though.
Yeah.
Now you want me to go over my one that I thought of when you said that?
Yeah, if you want to, yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned healthcare. Healthcare.
I thought about healthcare, but I
Because
don't
here's
think it's against the law to not have it anymore.
no. It's not that. It's
The
a
healthcare system?
yes, because okay, they
That's
can be
bad.
it's bad. It's like okay, we'll consider a first world country, but yet we have one of the shittiest healthcare systems in the entire fucking world.
Literally, there's two different prices if you have a problem. There's the insurance price, which is 3 times as much, and there's the cash price when you have no insurance. Why is it different?
But you see,
There's
here's the thing: your insurance sometimes will not even cover what you're going there for. They're like, oh yeah,
yeah,
sorry, they're gonna fight it to the way they don't have to pay for it, and then you're screwed
yeah,
over. Or they're like, oh sorry, we would cover you, but you're at a hospital that's not in our system, or that's out of service, or whatever the
out
term
of
is.
network.
You're at an out of network hospital, or your doctor is out of network, so we can charge you for that. We told you it was, but now it's not. And I'm
Like, what
like,
the hell?
and you're
Like, why
paying.
can't they all doctors? They're all doctors.
It's I don't think it used to be like this until I think the 60s or 50s. Whenever I think a law was introduced, if I remember watching a video correctly, I
Mhm.
think it didn't used to be like this. But then something happened, and it basically became the way it is today, and it's just gotten worse.
Yeah,
Because like they're like, oh, and then like it just like sucks now because like either you may be paying insurance, but then they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're not gonna pay you for that, or oh sorry, we can't pay for all of it. We'll pay for 25%. Uh
yeah.
we're only gonna cover 2 nights in the hospital, even though you need to be there to
For
be
a week.
checked on and recovery for a week.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's stupid. And we're considered a first world
yeah.
country, and we have one of the shittiest healthcare systems in the world.
Or like you have car insurance, you have no accidents for 10 years, be the best driver. You get in one accident and they raise your rates.
Oh no,
The hell
yeah.
do you have car insurance for? Well, I've been paying it for 10 years, ain't got nothing. I ain't cost you a penny. And I have to use you one time and you raise the rate?
God, it just sucks. Like
Yeah.
having insurance, but then like it more often than not, it seems like it's just trying to screw you over.
Unless if you're someone who has problems all the time and stuff like that, then you're great. But if you're someone who like doesn't have any problems ever, you're having insurance for pretty much like you don't really need it till obviously you do need it. But then like yeah, you're just paying for it till then.
In case,
Just in case, yeah.
yeah.
Especially like the car insurance thing, that's ridiculous. But we've been here for a while. I think it's time we wrap up.
Okay, so we're gonna be trying to do this. Ask a question at the end of every video. So let us know, what do you guys think? Is this scam that has been so much normalized that we don't realize it's a scam anymore? Honestly,
We'd
there's
love
a
to hear
lot
it.
of more that we could probably have
Oh
come up
yeah.
with if we thought of this more times. Because I only thought of those two because I've been thinking about those two for a while. So always, I guess you can say those are my Roman empires because they're always in the back of my head somewhere.
Yeah. Those are good. Yeah. I think those are really good. Well, yeah, y'all let us know what you think. Love to hear other ones that kind of spur the mind for us and other people.
Yeah,
Comment where you're able to comment there. If you check us out on YouTube, obviously you can give us a comment there.
I know
Uh,
Spotify lets you do questions now, so that's why we started doing it.
and there's that. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Super glad you joined us. And we'll see you in the next go round. Make a little bit of an outro here. Sounds like we're leaving. Not yet. Almost. So you guys can check us out on where we start with Instagram
Oh yeah, go
at
for it.
Fourth Long Haul Podcast. It's Fourth Long Haul Podcast whole way through right there on Instagram. Brandon's almost lost something. Not sure. He's making a
No,
face.
I
You can
dropped my
see
phone. I
that
dropped my phone. I didn't know if you could hear it.
on
They're
the
like loud.
YouTube. No, I heard a little bit. Yeah. So on the YouTube, you could have seen him drop his phone to make that face. Sometimes we do stuff where you can see stuff on here. If you want to see our faces, check us out for the Long Haul Podcast on YouTube with spaces in there. And off, we have an email. So, sponsorship information, or you want to send us an email. If that's how you want to comment, you send us an email. FTLHpodcast@gmail.com. Just like for the long haul, FTLHpodcast@gmail.com.
All right, you guys have a good one. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
All right. We'll see you later. Bye bye now.